And we are live. Well, first of all, thank you everybody for participating today. This is our monthly SAC meeting, Superintendent Advisory meeting for the LCCTC. We thought this was a great opportunity to for you to present your draft proposal on these early college pioneers. Case, you want to introduce who's with you?
Certainly. So I'm Case Willoughby, the Vice President for Student Affairs and Enrollment Management at BC3. I'll pass it off to Amy.
Hi, folks. I'm Amy Pignatore. It says Amy Double. That's my maiden name. And I'm the Dean of Admissions, College Registrar.
And Aaron? You're muted, Aaron.
Sorry, you missed my great introduction that I just gave myself. My name is Erin Chaffee, and I'm the Assistant Director of High School Programming.
And last but definitely not least, Mr. Carroll.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Sean Carroll. I'm the Director of BC3 at Lawrence Crossing.
So if you'd like, Glenn, I can just launch into our presentation.
Yes, let's go.
Great. So it won't be a very long presentation. I'll just cover the headlines. I hope you've had a chance to look over it. Thank you again for including us in this meeting. This was great timing, so we appreciate it. And Len, thank you for really, it was your seed idea that launched this. So thank you for that.
Let me give a little background on the evolution, and since you brought that up. So we've talked about this in this room really for a couple of years, that we all struggle as our student population is diminished with kids who qualify either academically or financially to participate in these college and high school programs with Butler Community College. So my initial idea was, let's figure out where everybody's teaching what, put that up on a board like the master schedule, and your people could participate in person, and then we would have a synchronous option. And quite frankly, Case, I think your plan takes it to a different level and a better level, because quite frankly, you bring the resources of the college. So the original idea was just a concept of how can we have really a county-wide offering for these college and high school programs, credits, and a diversity of offerings. And if I've missummarized, feel free to correct me or extend those comments.
No, I think you've done a great job. And I'll say, you know, I should not take too much credit, because what we did is merge your idea with one that came from Brian White, who's your counterpart at Butler School District. So the notion, you know, when Len presented his idea, kind of loved it immediately. The challenge we thought would be all of your bell schedules are all just enough different that we couldn't simply easily open up a class in one spot and have it beam to others, right? Because it was going to conflict with most other places. So what we really tried to do is look across your bell schedules and realize that it's certainly easier to start in the morning. You know, afternoon, after class becomes all the after school stuff that they do that's so great and enriching for them. We didn't want to interfere with that. But since these would be academic classes, it might be a way to start off the day when the bell schedules were at least closest, right? Aaron's team got some information from online from your different bell schedules, and we put this together. It is not perfect, but it aligns within pretty much all of your first and second periods. So within 2 periods, the students could get 2 college classes. And hopefully, if you allow them to call it for dual enrollment, then you know they're continuing to advance their high school requirements as well. A few conversations with Aaron, with Len, and with Mike Ross, we started thinking about what are the courses that will be most broadly applicable. Well, if anyone's thinking about college, they're going to need college writing, right? That is widely transferable, virtually any college or university in the US. General psychology is a super popular course. So those seem to be the 2 best options. And we would use that time period. Currently, we're looking at 8:09 to 9:15 in the morning, Monday through Friday, to get the minutes in. We had to really play with that. We really need to start fairly early. August 31st, we look at. The end date would kind of depend on which schools participate and some questions like that. We do have requirements by middle states, which I believe accredits you. You know, their higher education group accredits us. We have to meet a certain number of classroom contact hours and minutes, so that's how we would do that. The course would be taught by a BC3 instructor. So we would choose very wisely, right? We would choose someone who could do this well. These would all be live remote classes, right? So not, you know, this isn't asynchronous online instruction, which is a bigger leap for high school students. This would be live remote. The students would develop that sense of community with each other, and it would allow them to take some college classes, and it might be super valuable for those students who are, you know, if at your school you wouldn't have enough students to run the class if we tried to run it on ground at your school. Like, that's really a target audience. What we're also learning from our current project with Butler High School, we're doing something very similar except face-to-face, because they had a large enough cohort. They were able to fund their students, so they actually bused them here. But similar kind of structure beyond that is that, you know, the target audience wasn't necessarily just your super high flyers. It was students who were ready and able to complete the work, but who were maybe, they're thinking about college, they're not 100% sure, but they're ready. We wanted to, the funding model for this would be that the students would need to pay for the tuition credits. That's in the proposal what those costs are based on current tuition fees. That might bump up a smidge. Our board makes those decisions in June, so I don't have exact numbers now, but we don't make big jumps, so it wouldn't be far off. We also want to show you that we have skin in the game and we value this. So our BC3 Education Foundation has stepped up, and it will cover the cost of books. So students will not have to pay a cent for the books. So that's a nice perk for them. So they might be able to get a jump start on college, try college out, see if it's right for them, with a college instructor at a timeline that is not exact to the college time, but very, very close, right? So they're getting that kind of the same minutes they would, but just a slightly different tweak to conform to the high school schedules. What we know from a lot of the research is that students who start college having earned college credits in high school usually save money and are more likely to be successful. So that's our pitch to you. We think this really offers something great. There's some details in there about eligibility. Those are our standard eligibility for high school students to participate in our college courses. There's nothing, however, restricting your high schools from saying, we want to only juniors and seniors, or, you know, we have concerns about a particular student and you know, we won't recommend that one for the program. You know, we'll go with those sorts of things. So we'll provide the instructor, the instruction. We'll use GoToMeeting, which is our platform, unless the platform changes, but if it changes, it would be a comparable one. And our LMS, which is Blackboard. And so what the high schools would need to do is just coordinate registration with Erin Chaffee's staff. There will be probably some placement testing for students for English 101. That's no problem. Erin is well versed at that and probably works at a lot of your schools already. And then the high school needs to provide space, right? So if the students are going to be in the high school, unless you allow them to do this from home, but if they're going to be in the high school, they'll need a space where they can access the computer, be able to participate. And given that we wouldn't imagine you have too many students at any one school, you know, a small computer lab with students on headsets should make this perfectly workable. I'm going to ask my team, did I miss anything? And then we'll open it up for questions. No? Okay. So curious, you know, I met with a number of you earlier in the year, got some feedback. We tried to incorporate that. Is this something you would like to work with for us to offer to your students for the fall 22 academic semester?
Well, let's do it this way. Let's start in the room, and then maybe by position, so people aren't speaking over one another virtually. But I'll defer to the other two superintendents who are currently in the room who didn't participate early. Dr. Schreck from Shenango and Dr. Shipley from Elwood. What are your initial impressions?
Feedback that I received this morning was they appreciated that it was early morning. The scheduling you proposed was going to probably work for Shenango. So I think there's some legs to it. I think from a personal perspective, I don't know if there's a syllabus or anything that you have that that you can provide what the course is going to, structure is going to look like, so it doesn't overlap too much of what our high school classes are already. I don't know if that makes sense or not. I know they'll receive college credit for this, but I do have a little hesitation with sophomores doing it when they're
Right.
not taking our high school classes, but taking BC.
That could be your local
Yeah.
restriction. Dr. Shipley?
Yeah, I hate to say, I just mirror everything that Dr. Scheck just said, but nonetheless, I agree that I'd like to talk more with my principal about how it's going to work on our schedule. It seems like it's a good answer to our big issue of travel and things of that nature. I'm concerned about the writing class being considered in English and kids trying to get out of English 4 or something of that nature to take the writing class. I want to make sure that our core curriculum remains intact. But I'd like to, as Dr. Schreck said, I'd like to see some sort of syllabus on this.
I think the protection there, and I'm going to pull from my experience at Sharon, if we go back to the dual enrollment grant, one of the things we said, and this will make your unions happy, is the graduation credits must be satisfied by, at that time, right, Sharon credits, or Elwood credits, or Shenango credits. So these could be above and beyond if you want to put them on a transcript. But for example, wouldn't satisfy senior English.
Yeah, just that's what I want to
Right. That, and you could do that. You could do that locally. Dr. Terry, you just came back, but you think this is something we're not committed to necessarily, but might pursue further.
Yeah, the only thing I bring up about that last point is one other thing that we did with a different college entity that remained nameless was we did the English course, scheduled our own teacher Tuesdays and Thursdays, scheduled the college course throughout 3 days a week, and did it for the whole year and satisfied both credits. And if this is really that universal of a course, it might be something where we can satisfy all of our unions and satisfy a college, and you as an LEA can give that credit for whatever amount of time you want to do.
So, and I think too, if you look, I'm going to fast forward a little bit to the spring, right? So you're offering 2 courses in the fall, 2 courses in the spring. I think for now, we're going to try to get this idea off the ball as far as scheduling, and then replace it for the second semester with these courses. And then I think that conceptually, I think that we can offer it scheduling wise both at Laurel and the CTC. I don't know who wants to try to take a shot there online. We got a bunch of people online, but any virtual commentary. I can always pick a few. Mr. Pertow, what are your thoughts? Because here's the thing, Laurel has college and high school with Pitt. Obviously, we have some agreements. This is obviously another option. This would fit into the senior privilege option at Laurel. Any other thoughts come to mind, Matt, other than that?
I think that's a good point, is that it would fit into our senior privilege option. You know, I also like that it's at certain times throughout the day, and it's not necessarily an asynchronous option. So I would just want to talk it over with Mark and see what his thoughts are on it in terms of implementation. But I definitely see it could benefit our students here.
And
Senior privilege.
what's senior privilege?
Mr. Rich, yeah, what's senior?
Go ahead, Matt. Describe how we. If you got to be a good standing. Go ahead.
So for senior privilege, we have our seniors that are in good standing academically, attendance wise. We allow them to leave in the afternoon. Most of them leave in the afternoon based on that privilege. Some of them will then take an online college course. Some of them will leave to rest before they come back for activities. And in certain circumstances, we have allowed students to do their senior privilege in the morning. We do have students at times that work specifically on their farms, things of that nature. So we would allow them to take that time in the morning as compared to in the afternoon. But it's a way of getting our seniors out of having to sit in study halls and sort of losing that time throughout the day where they can just be more efficient with it.
We got a lot of former high school principals in here. What do you do with the seniors that have met all your graduation requirements? You only allow them to take so many study halls. You're going to force them to take an elective. You dump them into a gym class. They don't participate in the gym class. So what Laurel created prior to my arrival was the senior privilege option, and it's worked pretty well. I saw Mr. Sovich on there, and John, any thoughts?
Yeah, no, it looks good with the virtual options. And we do offer these from BC3 through our teachers at this point. So we'd have to kind of tease that out and look how that would work. But obviously going online with the courses, that's something different, and it opens up some more flexibility for our kids. So that's something definitely we could look at and kind of design out through programming. So
one of the things I like is, let me touch on that, is that it actually frees up your teacher, right, to pick up another locally taught course within your academic handbook, because it eliminates that, well, is it going to run, is it not going to run, I got to block off this time, I hope it runs. Meanwhile, you can give that teacher another English elective or English 4, whatever you want to do. So I was thinking something similar in our planning process, and I agree with that.
correct.
Richie from NC, Kane's cause, any thoughts?
We would definitely be interested in this. We already do some college and high school things with Seton Hill, Pittsburgh Technical College, and we would love to do this with BC3. We'd like to have as many opportunities for our students as possible, and we have some staff members that have taught out of BC3, so there's a nice relationship there, and a lot of our students do end up at BC3, and I think it would be a great thing.
And I saw both Newcastle counselors are on too, correct?
Yes, they are.
You know, one of the things with the number of counselors on board, and a little pitch, if you will, to BC3 is, I think, some type of promotional video, not long, you know, what do you call this, early college pioneers?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna regulate. So in any event, if you do a short video to wet their beak a little bit, we could push it out to all of our student emails and let them know that it's coming. You know, we can make those decisions. Is this going to be seniors? What have you? I mean, my opinion is I want to reserve for seniors right now. Appreciate the other options, maybe down the road, to see how it goes locally anyway. And then another thing is I'm going to defer to the counselors. Do you still have a monthly counselors meeting or something like that, where I think next steps would be how to get the materials to the counselors, how to get potential kids information, some type of recruitment night, Google Meet, Zoom, that type of thing.
Yeah, Mr. Rich, we still have our monthly meetings. They have been virtual, but we could easily get that information out to everybody in the county.
So I'm going to defer to promotion on your end, but I wanted to give you the avenue. If you produce a little something, we can push it out to all the seniors.
Absolutely.
And we can definitely do some things like that. Who would my primary contact be? Would I reach out to this entire group or the counselors?
Well, you have the email badge from this whole group, right?
Yes.
You can either use all those emails if you want to send it to me, and I'll send it to the superintendents and principals, because I don't have all the emails, but certainly you're welcome to use the email badge for the attendees at this meeting.
Great. Thank you.
Hey, Case, it's Mike Ross from Meeting. I have a question though. Like, you said those classes in the spring that you may offer. That's a giant contingency for us. Like, again, I can't take this class in the fall semester and then it's not offered in the spring, and then I got them in 2 consecutive study halls, the exact opposite.
So you give me a privilege.
Yeah. Does it look like it's a real good chance that you'd offer those 2 classes in the spring?
So The answer is if there's the student interest, we would love to. Yes, I mean I'm sorry. Yes, we will. The reason I wrote this as May is didn't know if there would be interest at all, and I didn't know if there would be interest in these two classes.
Okay.
This is what we chose to do with Butler Senior High School. That was their. We recommended English 102. They agreed with that, and they actually specifically asked for economics. So those are the reasons I put those there. If you think there might be something different to offer, but I think these certainly good classes for students to have, and widely transferable again.
Yeah, I mean, they seem pragmatic to me. I just wanted to make sure the May wasn't like, I'm not sure we're gonna do it, because then you'd find 8 schools with a bunch of seniors with nothing to do for the first 2 periods of the day is how it would work. It would be problematic. So I just wanted to make sure that the plan is to offer the classes. Maybe it's not the ones we're looking at right now, but the plan is to offer something in the spring.
Yes. Yes, there is, absolutely. We would, to make these viable, we should have 10 students in each class. I can push a little bit down on that in the event we're close, right? I know it's a pilot year, but I'm hoping that in all the high schools we can get those kind of numbers. And someone else, if we're also open to students taking one out of the 2 classes if that more suits their interest, but certainly we think they'd be better off earning more credits if possible.
Sure, I think some of that, there you go. These 2 classes would be great options for Laurel High School in the spring. Certainly, if they take, let's face it, if they take the 2 in the fall and the 2 in the spring, those are all 3 credit courses, 3 times 4, 12. They're already got a semester down. That'd be a great goal. So, for example, I know at the Career Center, we actually have a line item in our budget to help support tuition. The kids got to get a C or better. We give them a couple $100 towards the course, because one of the obstacles, if you will, and I'm sure you're aware of this, is that a significant portion of the districts in Lawrence County already have economically disadvantaged students.
Right.
And those trends are moving to greater percentages, not fewer. One of the huge advantages I see in this is let's get those kids who, and this is going to go on some experience I've had with a program called Talent Search. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that. It's a federal program, but it gets those students who are college eligible, right? They've done good in high school, but no one in their family has college experience, if you will, right? So how do they navigate a process that's not known? This gives them a great opportunity to gain 3, 6, 9, 12 college credits. They're already into a college. They're surrounded by people that know them and support them, their teachers, their counselors, their principals. So if there is a betterment of humanity in this, if you will, it's that we're going to be able to reach some kids who don't have college in their family's background and could be first-time college students in their families.
Exactly. That is definitely one of our goals for this program.
Is there any?
Hello, everyone. This is Stephanie Gibson from Newcastle. Quick question. The original link did not permit us to join in at the 1 o'clock hour, but my question is, did you all show the amount of the courses? I'm not able to see that. Okay, because
Now, can you see it now?
yes, in looking at that current rate is almost double what our students are now paying to do Seton Hill courses. So that would definitely be a deterrent for our students just based on that pricing alone. Have you guys researched anything? I know that there is the career link. They do have some grants, and we share that between Lawrence and Mercer County. But anything else to help students to meet that $414, because like I'm saying, it's almost double what they're paying now.
The BC3 Education Foundation has come in and they will cover the cost of books and materials. but I'm not able to move that price at this point.
This is Emily from Newcastle. Just to piggyback on what Stephanie is saying, do you have any academic scholarships for students who are 100% free and reduced lunch?
So I would have to check with our foundation on that.
Perfect. That would be great.
I will do that, Emily.
I actually sit on the council, Stephanie and I both do, for BC3 at the, was it Lawrence County Crossing stuff?
Mhm.
So we meet quarterly, I think. So it'd be great. You know, we've actually brought this up in those meetings with the dean. So it would be a great conversation to have because like Stephanie said, we would love to. We have so many students that leave our, as seniors leave and go to BC3 that this is a great opportunity for them. But it is almost double the price of both Pittsburgh Technical College and Seton Hill, which are our other two college and the high school opportunities.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that.
So next steps, you're going to get us some promotional materials, video, literature, whatever you want to do. We'll push it out to the group. I would recommend that you meet with the counselors meeting as far as their timelines for starting scheduling their kids. I would assume January, February-ish, depending on the individual schools taking the course requests. Other than that, in this room, any other next steps you think? No. Online, anything you think is pertinent for our BC3 friends right now?
Yeah, just from Newcastle again. I know we got on late too because of the link. Was it said? Is this something where you have your instructors teaching these courses, or is this something that we get our syllabus approved and we have a teacher that's approved in-house to offer these courses?
These will be taught by BC3 instructors and beamed out from a BC3 location, either Lawrence Crossing or main campus.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Yeah, we want to increase the college feel as much as possible.
And I think that does a good job to break the grade 13, an unknown entity, if you will, as far as that teacher. I think that adds a degree of rigor. I apologize. The link is my fault. This meeting is recorded. At the conclusion of this meeting, I am going to send the recording out to everybody who is on the distribution list. Because the only schools I believe that are not attending here right now are Neshannock and Wilmington. Right? Terry, you're not online, right, Dr. Meehan? Luca? Okay. Okay. Case, the floor is yours. Any final thoughts?
No final thoughts. Well, I will say thank you very much. We appreciate the time and the feedback. I'll check on some of the questions that were raised, and we'll work on getting some promotional materials for you.
Really want to thank you for all the hard work and opportunity. I think this is going to be a great thing. I definitely think we got a crawl, walk, run, but I don't see a problem getting 10 kids in one section of English 101 and one section 201 when you're talking about eight high schools. And plus the CTC. I don't see that as a problem. So I think this is going to be very doable. We only need an average of a couple from a few schools.
Great.
And Len, I have a quick question. Can you confirm for me, it was hard to hear, which superintendents are in the room with you?
Sure. Dr. Schreck from Shenango, Dr. Quickly from Elwood City, Dr. Laterra from Mohawk, Dr. Ross from Union, and just to be clear, I am a Mr., not a doctor.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. It was great to be here with you. We appreciate spending the time, and I'm sure you have a lot on your agenda. So we'll sign off. Thank you very much, and you'll hear from us soon.
You got the commentator. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Hang on. Hold on. I want to stop recording before you swear. I want that to be the last thing on the line.